If you've thought about getting your real estate license and you want the scoop on how to actually make it happen and what to expect, stick with me. If we just met, my name's Alisia Krastel, and I help agents have an amazing net life, which means rocking a real estate business while still having a life for your family and friends. If that sounds like something you want to do and you want to grow your real estate business, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any tips or videos along the way. About 90% of realtors fail in their first 5 years, and I really think this is one of the reasons. Is because they don't do the research up front, or no one is taking them and really telling the truth about what it's like, what the costs are, and they just get bombarded with things that they weren't expecting. This video is going to prepare you for that so you don't get that surprise. By the end of this video, you're going to have the 5 steps to get licensed and what to do with your license after you get it. And also at the end, I'm going to share some of the costs so you know what to expect. Number 1 is to have conversations and do a little recon with agents that you either know in person or on YouTube or social media, and find out really what the down low is on what they need to do to earn the amount that you want. If it's $100,000 or $50,000 versus $400,000, it's going to be way different. So make sure that it's actually something that that's going to meet your needs before you go spend all this money and time to do it. It's something I wish I would have done. I just thought, let me get my real estate license. I'm interested. And I had no idea what was going on the business end. A couple questions you want to ask them is, how do they work? Are they relationship based or are they transaction based? And does that align with you? Do you want to be cold calling, or are you going to work a relationship based business that's growing relationships and getting deals that way versus actively hunting for them? They're way different businesses, and you may love one and you may hate the other. So you want to make sure that what they're doing and the advice that they're giving you is in line with what you want to do. You also want to ask them, how much are they working? How many hours are they working a week? Because you might be able to make $200,000, but they might be working 90 hours a week, and that doesn't jive with you. Or maybe they make $100,000 and they work 20 hours a week, and you're like, that's more like what I want. You have to make sure that the person you're taking advice from is in line with what you want. Number 2 is taking your pre-licensing course, is what it's called. In Maryland, it's about 60 hours, so you can do that anywhere as long as the Maryland Commission has approved it, and you can find that out online, or you can reach out to your local board, which is fine also. You have options right now, especially with COVID going on, to take it online, Zoom, and some people still have in-person classes. It's whatever fits your needs best. There are also options to knock it out in big chunks, like taking a couple of weekends, all day, all weekend to do it, or little pieces where it's at night for a couple hours or during the day for a couple of hours. Again, it doesn't matter. It's whatever suits you best. If you're in another state, your hours might be different, but the general process will be the same. Number 3 is to actually take the exam. There's a national part and there's a state part. You have to pass both, and you'll do fine. Just know that people do fail them all the time, and they can retake them. So if you do it on the first try, awesome, that's amazing. But if you don't feel bad about it. And wherever you take your pre-licensing class, they'll give you a practice exam, so you'll kind of get a feeling of whether you know the important stuff or not, and they really know what's on the exam for the most part, so you'll be geared up for this. If you are from Maryland, tell me what part of the state you're from. I'm in Baltimore. Number 4 is finding what broker you want to work with, and I think this is really an interview process. And remember that they're not interviewing you specifically. They are a little bit, but really it's you interviewing them to see if they're going to be a good fit for you. It's kind of cool that you flip the script and now you're like interviewing the employers. You really want to make sure one has what you need. How are they going to support you? Who's going to support you? Does it work the way you want to? Like the brokerage I'm at is very online based. Everything that we have is virtual because I didn't love going to the office. You may not be able to do that. You want to go to the office and that's a deal breaker for you. Maybe this brokerage wouldn't be for you. So you really want to line up some interviews with them, ask them some tough questions. And one of the questions I would really want you to ask a brokerage is ask someone to sit down with you and say, hey, can you help me figure out what it would take for me to net the amount of money that you decided in the beginning here, because the splits will be different at every brokerage, the fees will be different. So ask them, help me figure out what I would net with. What at the end of the day will I have to call my own at this brokerage? When you do that and boil it down to net, that will really help you, and also to help you figure out who will take the time to do that with you or not. And even though I noted it as number 4, this is something you can do from the very beginning. You can start the interview process with these way up front, but your 4th step will be which one you're choosing, which one you're actually going to go with, and then you affiliate with them, you apply to work with them, and then you go to step 5. After you figure out which broker you're going to go with, then you can actually hang your license there and move on to step 5, which is going to dllr, signing up for your boards, all of the things to get your license actually rolling and being able to do business. dllr is the resource for Maryland licensing, and I'll put the link below in the comments so you can access that. At this point, you're an active realtor. You are a licensed realtor, yet you're not able to go show homes because you don't have a key card, and you can't take a listing because you don't have a lockbox yet to get people in. You're going to sign up with your board of realtors. You're going to get your MLS ready, and you're going to get your Central Lock if you use Central Lock. Some people use Supra, it depends where you are in the state. To give you an idea, I'm with Baltimore Realtors, so it's GBBR, and it was $662 last year for the entire year. We got a little bit of a discount because of the pandemic, so it'll probably go up a little bit for next year, so about $700. The MLS is $105 per quarter where I am. The lock boxes are about $110 if you're using a Central Lock per house that you're going to use them on. And there are a lot of other things that we consider for fees that we can break down, but those are some good chunk ones that you should be prepared for ahead of time. You'll have things like photos for listings, which this month I had 3 listings and the total was about $870 for the listings just for the photos. And if you do flyers or you do single property sites, which is where your property will have a website all its own, all of those things cost a little bit more, and that's your choosing. You get to choose those things. Don't let that scare you though, because it's all part of the cost of sales, because that's what it costs to actually sell a home, and you just figure that out into your commission and what you charge. And the pre-licensing class itself is going to cost you between $200 and $500. You can find brokerages that say, okay, you take the licensing stuff and pass the exam and we'll refund that for you, but you have to join us. I would suggest not doing that. You should do it at a neutral place where no one's enticing you while you're fresh and green to come to them. If you've gotten this far, you're licensed, you're ready to roll. Now you might be thinking, well, how do I get clients? I have a ton of videos on how to get leads and how to work your sphere and do a relationship business, so make sure you check them out.